Okay, so that brings us nicely on to profile optimization. So when we're looking at our profile, there's lots of content we can fill in. I'd encourage everyone just to optimize as much as possible. LinkedIn's very good at encouraging us to do this. So here it says add profile section. If there's something you haven't yet filled in, it will prompt you to do that, and it will show you how you're progressing through all of the content fields. Okay, so why should we optimize? What's the benefit? Optimized profiles will rank much higher within LinkedIn searches. Keyword optimized profiles will be found easier. Remember that your LinkedIn profile is available within Google search. So if someone searches not even on LinkedIn, but on Google, your profile could come up. You want to make sure that you are representing yourself in a professional manner. So having a frequently updated and fully updated profile is a good thing. And you're more likely to receive opportunities through LinkedIn if it looks like you're actively using it and that you have got recent experience and posts. Okay, so where do we start with? Here is your starting point, your profile checklist. So by way of an update, have an updated image. So that photograph from a friend's wedding 10 years ago where you look great, but you don't look like that anymore, unfortunately, it's time to scrap that. We can get some really fantastic photography with our smartphones against a clear background or virtual backdrop, if you haven't been able to do the corporate headshot. But I would encourage you to have a photo that's probably 2 to 3 years old max, so people can actually identify with you if they see you in real life, which I know isn't common these days, but hopefully that will improve. Also a cover image, that's your background image, and then your title. Your title is what will show up when people tag you or see your post appearing within their newsfeed. Then include suitable details around your past and present roles. This is your opportunity to include keywords. If it's relevant, include a direct line phone number in your business name so people can quite literally lift the phone and ring you from LinkedIn. I haven't done that, but I have included it in my overview along with my email address and my website URL. And then if you've worked hard in your industry to get those qualification letters to show you are experienced and qualified in what you do, now's not the time for modesty. Pop them in there as well. Professional image, it is actually important on LinkedIn. It can generate 14 times more profile views, and it also builds trust. And of course, your business and maybe social connections, depending on how you're currently using LinkedIn, will therefore recognize you. So it's really simple to upload a photograph. If you have one from your device, just upload it, reposition it within the circle, and that's the content that people will see on your profile. So if you are creating a presence for LinkedIn for your organization, this is something you could try. So the Smart Group have added these beautiful colored backgrounds, and they've provided these images to everyone within their organization that's using LinkedIn. So it's a really creative way of getting that attention grabbing content, but it's something that's a good idea to do across the entire organization. So if you are the one overseeing your LinkedIn strategy, think about those backgrounds that you can now use to get attention and also to showcase your brand. Okay, so you can add a background photograph or a cover photograph to your LinkedIn profile. It has to be JPEG, PNG, or GIF file under 8 MB in size. Here's the resolution details, so you can design something on Canva later that will suit. But your background photograph just provides a little bit more context to the work that you do. To be honest, I don't have a personalized one. That's one I got from Unsplash. You can do the same, of course, and you're able to update that through the pen icon on your profile. This pen icon is where you can update lots of different elements of your profile. It's your main editing tool. So when you press that pen icon, you can, of course, update your background, but you can update your details, your headline, your current position, your education, and then all of your contact info. So another thing that's a really good idea, particularly for business cards, is to customize your public profile URL. And this is where you can have a dedicated URL for LinkedIn without a lot of numbers at the end. So as you can see, mine is linkedin.com/in/Emma Gribben. So I was able to create that in LinkedIn. I can use that on my business card. When I'm actually looking at my profile, that comes up in the top right-hand corner, edit public profile and URL. And then from there, I can press the edit button and claim my name. The only thing is you have to be in there before anyone else of the same name. So if you haven't done it, click in and do that already. Okay, it's important you have your contact info, website, telephone number, email, Twitter handle if it's relevant. You can do that under See Contact Info. Once I click on that, I can control all of my contact formats with the little pencil or pen icon. And also I've included that within my summary. So I want it to be really, really easy for people to find me. So what I have done is I've tried to create a lot of keyword optimized content and put all of that throughout my profile in my title, current experience, previous experiences, summary, work experience, skill endorsement, for example. So this is where you can add the keywords that you want to really get noticed for. The other thing is showing examples of your work. So if someone's searching for a specialist or consultant or creative, chances are they're going to look at your profile alongside many others and you want yours to stand out. So what you can do is show examples of your work. That would be videos, images, documents, links, etc. How you can do that is underneath a particular position. You can add a number of links. So here I have 2 links to websites, although you can just upload a photograph or a video if you choose to do that. And we quite simply go in and edit that experience in order to add the media. Okay, so when I'm in editing my experience at the bottom, it will say media, upload or link. And that's where I can upload an image, a video, or link out to any third-party site. Okay, so with your current roles, it's important that you have as much information as possible. But quite often I get asked, Emma, how much info do I need to share about the roles I've had in the past? I'm obviously not there anymore. Like, how important is that? What I would say is the more content you have on LinkedIn, the better. There's more info for people to find you. There's more keyword rich content there for LinkedIn search and Google search to use. So here's a little summary of things I think that you should have included for your role, current and past. So it is pretty obvious: your title, your responsibilities, examples of day-to-day activities, the size of the team you managed, if any, opportunities you are or were looking into, projects completed, and then contact methods. Now, it goes without saying you wouldn't be including that for previous roles, but more so for your current role. When it comes to education, something similar. It's up to you how far back you want to go. But it's helpful to include high school or college experience, any university experience, postgraduate, on the job, voluntary, or even industry accreditations. If you have a project that you really want people to see or find out about or to acknowledge, you can create that as a LinkedIn project. So this is like a standalone piece of content on your LinkedIn profile. Here you'll need to include the title, the context, any KPIs, your role, the size of the project team, how long it took, what you did to add value, and then the results of that project. Of course, you can add honours and awards as well. And again, it's just a chance to showcase all of your achievements. So here, for example, I can see by way of summary any honours or awards. So this is, for example, Dana Awards, Business First, or Come Spiders, Dana Awards again. So anyone that's really interested in saying how I've done my career and how I have had my efforts rewarded or acknowledged, it's a very easy way for them to see that. Skills are another important element on LinkedIn. So you can add your skills, and then LinkedIn will ask people within your network, do they endorse you for that skill? So I can see that I've been endorsed for social media marketing 52 times, digital marketing 48 times, marketing in general 41. And then also we have a range of skills down here. And these are also treated as keywords. So if people were searching, for example, marketing communications Belfast, because I have that as a skill, there's a chance that my profile will come up within the search results. Recommendations are really, really powerful in real life, as we know, within that corporate environment and also on LinkedIn. So what I would suggest is once you connect with customers or your colleagues, and when you're confident that they're going to give you a positive review, it's good to reach out and ask them to review your work, your organization, your project, material, or brand if appropriate. Now, the good news is that it's really easy to do that. You can navigate to the recommendations section on your profile. And once you're logged in as yourself, there's this big ask for a recommendation button. And once you click on that, you can then go through and choose who you would like to invite to recommend you. And also you choose what your partnership was. So were they a client of yours or were you a client of theirs, etc. And also you have to choose from which role this recommendation was appropriate. I have been really lucky to receive 11 recommendations and I've given 5. So I really should be paying it forward and given many more recommendations. Some of them came because I asked for a recommendation and lots came just voluntarily. So the thing is that if someone's really impressed by what you've delivered, they can just go to your profile and leave you a recommendation for that as well. But it helps if you can cultivate a few just to get the ball rolling. Okay, so before I move on to LinkedIn privacy, I just want to show you some of those features on the actual LinkedIn platform itself. So just like what I've done before, I'm going to come across to the platform and show you that in real life. So if I click into my profile here, see my profile picture and then my cover image that I've mentioned, title comes up. This is the about section. So anywhere you see the pen icon, it's really easy to edit. And because I'm logged into my profile, I get to see my private dashboard. So I can see how many people have viewed my profile, how my content has performed, and how many times I've appeared within search. So that's an indication of how visible I am on LinkedIn. Recent activities, I should say, are summarized here. So anything I've interacted with and posted about. And then we move down to experience. So here is where we can add contact details. Here we can add more details about what is on offer, and we've just separated these out with some keyboard functions. I have included examples of work. So for this particular experience, I have hyperlinked out to a website about this project, and similarly for these two as well. So people who might not be familiar with that can click on the links and understand more about the project that I'm involved in. The same for Intertrade Ireland. So that's all really easy to set up through the edit function. Education, as we've mentioned, any relevant volunteering experience, even though that was quite a while ago, I would still get people connecting with me because they met me then or they've also volunteered for that organisation. Skills and endorsements come next. Then we have recommendations. Accomplishments, which is the projects, honours and awards, courses, organizations and language that we've mentioned. And then interests underneath that, so people can see any of the organizations that I'm interested in or follow. So as you'll notice, I have got the all-star recognition there because I've gone through and filled in all of that information. Obviously, if I'm training on LinkedIn, I need to be able to show you guys where that's at. But LinkedIn will keep you right and remind you about any profile sections that you haven't yet completed or anything that needs looked at. Okay, so some of the things that are really important when we're focusing on LinkedIn is the privacy. So you might want to control what people can see on your profile or control, what is available publicly. And the good news is that we have got the ability to control who sees what, and that's within the settings. So starting point, one of the first things you can control is whether or not you give away other people who may be competitors to you. What do I mean by that? Well, when I look at Lindsay, Lindsay is a digital marketing transformation consultant. She's also one of the Google trainers that I work with. But on Lindsay's profile over here on the right-hand side, it's telling me similar people or people who have also been viewed in association with Lindsay. So the chances are that a couple of Lindsay's competitors are going to show up here. So Dahlia is a social media and marketing consultant, which is very similar to what Lindsay does. Lewis is a marketing manager. So is Ashley. What else have we got? Jess is a journalist, for example. So quite often we're going to find very similar people here. And the good news is that you've got the ability to turn off this panel if you so wish, so that does not show up. So what we can do is turn off this panel within settings. So if you want to control this or any other privacy functions, go up to the very, very top of your LinkedIn profile. Underneath me, Click on that and the drop-down menu will appear. And the first option under your account should be settings and privacy. Within settings and privacy, you have the ability to turn off viewers of this profile also viewed. So for mine, I have that turned off. You won't see that on my profile because if someone has searched and found me, I don't want them to then easily see my competitors or others in my industry. But it's not the most important thing. It is really important for recruitment, for example, or for lead generation, because obviously then people have spent a lot of time to try and build up their connections. So if you want to turn that off, you absolutely can do. Also, within here, you can control who can see your email address, who can view your connections, who can see your last name, and your profile visibility off LinkedIn. So all of this is possible from within the privacy section. Okay, so if you want to control who can see your connections, you have got a number of options from the drop-down list. So it's up to you to choose what level of visibility there is there. The other thing as well is profile viewing options. So if I were to go onto your profile and have a look, you get notified. You would see that I had viewed your profile unless I change my settings. I can privatize that. So I could just change it to private profile characteristics. So instead of saying Emma Gribben viewed your profile, it would say advertising specialist in the marketing and advertising industry from Belfast, United Kingdom. But in return, I don't get the visibility about the people who view my profile. So it does definitely work both ways. So it depends what the purpose is of you using LinkedIn. For me, I'm not doing any snooping or searching here that I wouldn't want people to see. So I'm happy to have that turned on. And then in return, I can see who's viewed my profile and I can see their roles, etc., unless they have that turned off. You can, of course, go into fully private mode, and that's where you just come up as an anonymous LinkedIn member. And the same thing works the other way. They won't get to see who's viewed their profile in return. Okay, you might decide after today you're going to make some changes to your LinkedIn profile. It's time to update your overview, your experience. You're going to add projects, etc. But you might not want your entire network notified of every single change you make. The good news is you can turn that off. So within the privacy settings, you have got sharing profile edits, and you can turn this on or off. So if you're making lots of changes at once, you might decide to turn this off so people won't be notified every time you edit your profile. So when you have the bulk of the updates done, you can then go back and turn it on, and anything that you add from there on in, like a new role or an anniversary, will then be highlighted. We're now starting to see that underneath each of the experience updates. So if you were to go and update your experience in your current role or to add a new experience at the bottom, it says, would you like to share this with your network? And you can choose whether to turn that on or off. Okay, so one other thing I want to highlight is you get to control what people can see or what they can view about your profile. So when you're actually in your profile on the right-hand side, you should have the ability to control the visibility for headline, website, post activity, summary, current experience, past experience, etc. So therefore, you're in control as to what people can see from your own LinkedIn profile. Okay, so the other thing that you can do is create a public profile badge if you so wish. And this is where you can promote your profile by adding a badge to your blog, your online resume, or your website. And this is just really a little bit of code that can then allow people to click through to your LinkedIn with ease. So let's just say you had a blog that you wanted to connect with LinkedIn. You could include this badge and that would take people straight to your LinkedIn profile. This is what your badge would look like. You've got 3 different options. You can also change the size of that. And if you wanted to paste this badge within a web page or a blog article, you can simply copy the code, and then this element is clickable and it will take them to your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a better idea of what you can control on LinkedIn in terms of privacy. Remember, that's all available within your settings. If you've got questions about privacy, if there's anything that you want to know, Please do submit your questions within the chat. I can see there are a few questions that have come through already, and we have got time for a Q&A at the very end to address those. So we're moving through the content at pace. It's coming up to 5 to 8. All that I want to share with you remaining would be LinkedIn groups and also the premium packages that are available. Let's start off with LinkedIn groups. We're going to talk about how they work and the value in LinkedIn groups and how you can set up one yourself if you would like to have that feature. So LinkedIn is a really great way, LinkedIn groups are a really great way of connecting with similar and like-minded people. I'm a big advocate for joining relevant business groups because it allows us to network, it allows us to build connections, to increase brand awareness, and let others know about who you are and what you do. So LinkedIn groups is a really good opportunity for you to build out your network. Gives you the chance to talk about your organization. It gives you the chance to get involved with discussions, share articles that you've written, or share blog posts back to your own website. It creates that visibility for your business. So you could be, for example, launching a new organization and then joining relevant business groups to educate people about that. But the other great thing is that you can easily connect with group members. So even if you don't have connections in common, the very fact that you're part of a group will allow you to add them directly as a LinkedIn connection. So I'm going to jump across onto the LinkedIn profile and share more with you about LinkedIn groups. So I'm just going to move our little bar out of the way so hopefully we can see that easier. So once I go to my network is obviously where I see any connection requests that I have. But over on the left-hand side, I can see all of the groups that I'm currently part of. So over here, I can easily navigate through to my Digital Marketing Institute group, my Northern Ireland Business group, what else have we got? Northern Ireland Business Networking group, etc. So if I wanted to go into here and see what the conversation is or what the content is, I can easily navigate in here. I see the most recent posts, and I can also start a conversation within that group. So by default, they're set up in a very similar vein to the newsfeed, which is something we're familiar with. And we can create a conversation by clicking in, adding our text, adding a photograph, a video, a document, or tagging others or other organizations. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. If I wanted to bring people into the group, so if I think that a colleague or a connection is really going to benefit, I can go through and invite my connections to this group. So if I felt that Neve would really benefit from it, who else might I choose? I might bring in Paul, for example. I can then invite them to join the group and send them that invitation. If I want to create my own group, I can also do that from within the groups section. So over here under groups, you might notice on the top right-hand corner is the create group functionality. So it's not dissimilar to what we looked at for creating an event. We add our cover photograph, profile photograph, name, description, industry, location, any group rules, and we've got 4,000 characters for that, so he can be quite descriptive. And then we can have our group as listed, which means that it's visible, or unlisted, which would mean that it has more privacy. And once we fill that in, we can go ahead and create that group and therefore have that space for people to connect on LinkedIn. So one of the interesting things is that throughout my newsfeed, I am also presented with content from groups that I'm a part of if there are recent posts within that group. I'm just going to take a quick scoot down through the newsfeed to see if that is the case at the minute. I think because of Easter, quite a lot of groups have been quiet, so there's nothing necessarily showing up here from groups at this moment in time. That's an ad opposed to the Digital Marketing Institute group. Okay. Also here from the main newsfeed, I can navigate quite quickly into my groups. You'll notice on the left-hand side, there's also the groups function. So I can go in there as well as going through my network, for example. That's quite a habit I've had, going through my network, but it's even easier to access from here. So I think you'll agree that it's fairly straightforward to create a group. It's not too difficult. It's really just a matter of keeping that conversation going and giving people some great value of being part of that group, the same way you would do if you had a Facebook group, for example. Okay, so that's an overview of groups, and it brings us to the last area, which is LinkedIn Premium. I often get asked, should I pay for LinkedIn? Is it okay to use the free version? With the paid for version, you get to see who has viewed your profile over the last 90 days. So you get that full visibility of your audience. So if you are actively growing your business, if you're growing your network, if you are investing in lead generation, it's going to be really helpful to see who has viewed your profile. You can see what impact you have created. So for me, that's something that I've paid for. It's really helpful to see who's viewed my profile, and I notice that there's a correlation. Once I view my profile, typically within 24 to 48 hours, I get a LinkedIn message, a connection request, or an email to then ask about a project or a potential piece of work. If you have the free version, the unpaid for version, you can only see the last 5 people who viewed your profile. So there's a lot less visibility there. However, there are more functions if you have a paid for version. You can see, for example, keywords that people use to find you, as well as how they actually got to your profile. Now, when it comes to paid for versions, you have a number of options. You've got LinkedIn Premium Career, and that is $24.98 per month. That's your cheapest option. You've got Premium Business, and that's $39.99 per month. You've got Sales Navigator, and that's more expensive at $49.99 per month. And then you have Recruiter Lite at $79.99 per month. Now, if I go back to the very first option, Premium Career is more so focused on being a featured applicant and reaching out to recruiters. So the whole idea is that you can get yourself in front of organizations that are recruiting. However, you still get the insights about who's viewed your profile. Also, you have access to the online video courses, etc. So this is the option I normally go with because it's cheapest and it gives me that functionality to see who's viewed my profile, and that's one of the benefits that I want. So even though I'm not looking for a new career, the functionality of this meets my needs. However, if you wanted to actually reach out to people through the likes of email messages, and you also wanted business insights, so deeper insights into a company's growth and functional trends, then you might want to upgrade to Premium Business, and that's the $39.99. You still get the feature on who's viewed your profile. You've unlimited people browsing, which means you can search for as many people as you want within LinkedIn. However, I have to admit, with the previous version, I've never reached my limit on searches. Sales Navigator is then more so focused on a business development manager or someone that is trying to build a lot of leads for an organization. With this package, you have 20 email messages every single month. You get sales insights, you get advanced search. You also have the who's viewed your profile and unlimited browsing, but you can save your leads within a central location. So therefore you have got a record of who you've actually reached out to and who you've connected with. And then Recruiter Lite is set up for recruiters. And this is where you've got 30 email messages, advanced search, smart suggestions to help you with recruitment, integrated hiring, you've advertising options built into that, candidate tracking, and recruiting specific design. So that's where you can create your own job pages and your own job listings, etc. So these are the options that are available. You can choose from any of these based on what your needs are. However, I'm just going to give you a little sneak preview into the premium package that I use. So I'm just going here into my premium section. So here it says I'm a premium member, have been since February 2021. So I was premium for a long time. I actually wasn't investing a lot in LinkedIn over, let's say, October, November, December, January, because it was so crazy busy. And I thought, I don't need these insights. I turned premium off, but reactivated at the start of the year because nosiness got the better of me. So here for my premium dashboard, I can see who's viewed my profile. So here I can view all 543 profile views within the last 90 days. So we'll go in here and have a little look. It also gives me a summary of how visible I've been over the past couple of weeks and months. This person here, for example, has got some privacy applied to their searches. So it's not actually giving me their name, but I can see that they find me directly via LinkedIn search. So they will have searched for me either by name or by keyword or by role. Simon, for example, I'm directly connected with Simon. So I am sending him messages through LinkedIn. We're talking about client accounts there, for example, and he's just found me via my LinkedIn profile. So I can see how he came across. Nassim, for example, found me via the homepage. So he's seeing content there and he's seen my profile and then come across to my profile from that. Cassie has found me via my network. So she's obviously gone into her network and looked to see who's part of that, click through to my profile from there. So the good thing is that it gives you an idea of how people are finding you. It gives you an idea of who's looking at your profile. So if you wanted to connect with someone that had looked at your profile, so I don't know John personally. So if John's on the call or you do know John, hi to John. I can see that 6 days ago, John had a look at my profile. I don't know John, but if I did want to connect, I can quite easily send him a connection request. And I do know that we have some connections in common. Okay, so that's one of the main features of Premium. Other things, I have got 15 in-mail messages that I can use. I've got 5 more credits on the, that should be May. I'm getting more credits. I don't typically use that, so it's not one of the key features for me of Premium. Because I'm using the Premium Career, I am able to get things like job insights and so on, but they're not really why I have used the Premium functionality. It's more around visibility. But here it's just showing all of the functions that are available for Premium. I have, of course, the learning section. So if I wanted to access the LinkedIn Learning, I have the ability to access courses. And that's a key benefit as well, because it's important that we're always building on our skills. So here I can go through and access that entire area or that entire platform as part of my Premium subscription. So here I can manage my subscription. I can cancel that at any time or upgrade if I want new features. But personally for me, the Career just gives me the visibility that I need, and it's one of the cheaper options. So you can be, shall we say, a bit of cheapskate like myself and go with the cheapest one just to get me the info that I need.